right, and we find ourselves here today with the first daily yap for the 28th of April, 2025. And the first question might be, what the frick is this video even about? And what is the daily yap about, let's say? So my original thought was that this happened like 1.5 years ago, that some of these like new things popped up where people would basically do old style YouTube commentary on YouTube with basically either like Call of Duty in the background or Minecraft in the background. I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And I've wanted to do that like last year, but I didn't do it because sometimes that happens. And I was like, you know what? Why not do it this time? And this time is the 28th of April, being my 30th birthday, which is like, that's kind of like just fitting, I feel like. It is very fitting. And yeah, there's basically sort of 4 pillars why I want to do this. There's some ground rules that I have basically just for myself. And let's just see. So the 4 pillars of why I want to do this is number 1, they are in order. So number 1 would be basically I want to commit to something that's like almost daily and I want to stick to it for a year. So the hope is that after 365 days on my 31st birthday, there is going to be 365 videos, maybe some shorts cut out of the videos. That's going to be totally fine. And I also want to use this as sort of a diary-ish for my thoughts. Because I do sometimes have, I don't know, all sorts of thoughts that I put down in my journal. And I'm like, this could be useful for someone else. And I'm probably going to be talking about literally like just everything that's sort of coming to my mind. So, you know, that's either it's like self-help, but I do want to try to spin it in a positive way. So if it is useful, similar to similar videos that we've seen, I do want to have it in a positive or a positivity spin, basically. Because I feel like there is already so much negativity out there. Now, there is also toxic positivity out there. However, I think there is a huge difference in how it can be applied. And maybe we're going to explore that in the videos. And the 4th pillar, right? So those are basically the 2, right? The diary and the usefulness to others. And then the 4th pillar is, yeah, if it can be monetized, I will do so. I think that there's no shame in that. And I think that that's totally fine, right? If that's the case as well, I would be okay. However, that is definitely at the lower end of the sort of reasoning, right? That's like more of a tertiary point rather than sort of the primary point where I'm like, okay, I just want to do something every day. And there are some other ground rules. The ground rules are as follows. I want the videos to be 10 minutes long, and that's it. So after 10 minutes, it gets cut. If I'm mid-sentence, it will get cut. Now, the only cuts I'm going to do are going to be the beginning and the end, so that, you know, I'm basically going to trim the beginning because sometimes maybe the intro, I will re-record that. I think that that's fair. But once I'm happy with the intro and I start talking, as I have been for about 3 minutes or so now, I will continue talking. If I misspeak, I'm going to keep that in. If I pause for a minute, I'm going to keep that in. It does not matter. The only time where where a flow might be sort of broken, if I get a call that I have to take or something like that, and I'm like 9 minutes in, I'll probably take the call and I'm just going to pause and I'm going to continue afterwards. I think that's fair. I think those are sort of the ground rules. And yeah, the idea is that I'm going to release the videos every single day, and they should be releasing every single day at the same time. And there you go. And either you listen or no one's listening, and that's fine as well. I think I'm going to go into this without any expectation. I think that's the most healthy point about any of it, basically. To basically always go in without expectation or with low expectations, because then you can't sort of ever feel bad about it, right? If you go in with no expectations, regardless of what happens, if the outcome is bad, you're like, okay, I didn't go into it with any expectations, and if the outcome is good, you're just gonna be happy. So I don't know. And yeah, that's sort of the idea that I've been thinking about. And what are we going to talk about today? I mean, I don't know, like 30. It's a time of reflection when you have a 0 at the end of your age again, right? 30. Obviously, I know a lot of people go crazy. I'm gonna be real. I genuinely don't feel bad about it in the slightest. Because I know a lot of people have, you know, feelings and thoughts, and they are like, oh my god, 30, oh my lord. That's like, I joke about it, obviously. I mean, listen, we joked about it all sorts of with everyone, right? But I'm just like, I feel totally fine. I feel like I've done very well in most areas of my life, so that's pretty good. And yeah, but what's the general thing I wanted to talk about? I don't even know. I was thinking about some of the things that we can do. And basically almost all of the things that we can do is something like value, right? It all sort of comes down to value. And I don't think that value doesn't necessarily mean it has to be, let's say, valuable to a market, right? So it's like, oh, it has to generate money. That's not the only value that you can provide. There's like all sorts of different types of value. Listening can be a value, right? So let's say when we talk about relationships, listening can be a value. A value can be being a good storyteller can be a value that can actually then also translate, if you're good at that, yeah, that could translate into into writing books and everything that comes with that, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, that's sort of I was thinking about sort of the value that we provide, and then sometimes also there are things that might not, I mean, I wouldn't say provide any value, because it's I talked about this before with a friend, where he basically said, well, he thinks that every single thing that a human being does is always selfish. And I think that the only reason why I don't agree with that is I don't like the word selfish in that instance. I think that the connotation there is wrong. Because you can argue, hey, you give, let's just say for the sake of argument, you give $1 to a homeless person, and, well, why did you give that? Well, you want him to feel better about yourself, because that it makes you feel better, right? It's like, it's still a good thing that happened, but you also did it so that you feel better. I don't think that that invalidates the good thing that you've done. So I don't think that that's necessarily going to be a bad thing, because it has a selfish component associated with it. But that's why I don't like the framing of it. I just don't like the framing of it, basically, right? I think that altruism does exist in some capacity, even if there is a secondary gain for oneself. I don't think that, that doesn't diminish, let's say, the positive, or the positive impact, basically. But yeah, that's the idea. Oh, also another thing, in terms of the videos, but you can see that this is it's basically unscripted, right? So I just have a couple of points, and I do realize also 10 minutes is definitely a little bit longer than I was expecting, because it's just off the cuff, right? I just have a couple of points. I had the points, the ground rules, the pillars. That's it. Might have to write down a few more points in the future, but we'll see. I mean, listen, we're just doing it live, okay? We'll do it live. That's like a meme from a very long time ago. But the other idea in the background, obviously, there's like Minecraft running, all the mods 10 right now. I have no idea what I'm gonna put in the background, okay? I'm not currently playing it. I'm actually just talking, so I wanted to basically just focus on actually talking, free speaking. Because that's another thing, right? I mean, that's like I think, not the lowest, but it's somewhere in like between the second and the third reason for why I'm doing it. It's sort of like, I wanted to just practice being able to fluently speak without a lot of, filler words. For example, and that's a filler word I do use quite a lot. And there's quite a few phrases that I overuse, I think. And I think being intentional with what you're saying and having a daily practice like this, it will hopefully foster some amount of, well, just growth in that area, right? I guess, right? So that's sort of the idea. And yeah, what's happening in the background is I have no idea. I will just cut a random piece of my like Minecraft playings, recordings in there. Maybe it's gonna be some other games at some point. Maybe it's gonna be, I'm just gonna be creative with it. I don't even know. Maybe it's gonna be a day where it's just gonna be a black screen, because sometimes you don't need that stimulation in the background, okay? That sometimes that is too much, okay? Don't get overstimulated. So, as we're nearing the end over here, what do I want to give you with today? Listen, if it's sunny outside, go outside for, even if it's 10 minutes, take a short walk. That is going to brighten your mood, especially if it is sunny outside. As spring is coming up, the sun is going to absolutely infuse you just with like good feeling chemicals. It's just the case. Usually, especially if you're in a more, let's say, colder climate, then it is absolutely necessary to get some sun exposure, basically. But yeah, that's basically going to be it. And hopefully talk to you tomorrow, and